Seven Hills Road, looking west, where it crosses modern Pigeon Creek. We're going to turn to the north, and this right here, on the other side of the guardrail, is preserved Wabash and Erie Canal, moving north of Seven Hills Road. Looking north at preserved Wabash and Erie Canal, we're going to move to the south. We're going to cross Seven Hills Road. You're going to notice across the street a ditch. This ditch is drainage of the Wabash and Erie Canal from north of Seven Hills Road to south of Seven Hills Road. South of Seven Hills Road, we have a drainage ditch that actually drains the Wabash and Erie Canal north of Seven Hills Road. There is a little bit of what might be towpath here. However, we move over here, we have a very, very well preserved berm running from the edge of the road all the way down to where this will run into modern Pigeon Creek. Just a nice overview of the berm looking towards Seven Hills Road. And moving toward modern Pigeon Creek. About 400 feet south of Seven Hills Road, the ditch starts to make its way into the middle of what would be the canal. You can see, looking west, we have somewhat of a preserved towpath. Looking across what will be the Wabash and Erie Canal, and we still have a very, very well preserved berm. Roughly 900 feet south of Seven Hills Road, we lose the towpath, and the drainage ditch empties into modern Pigeon Creek. Even still, we still have a prominent berm at this point. Roughly 1,300 feet south of Seven Hills Road is about where we really lose the berm. We have a prominent berm here, but right about here is where it starts to level off and essentially merge with modern Pigeon Creek. Again, that's turning toward the north, toward Seven Hills Road. We are now roughly 1,500 feet south of Seven Hills Road. We are looking north. The berm has completely disappeared. The canal will be somewhere between the east bank of modern Pigeon Creek or modern Pigeon Creek itself. But 1,500 feet south of Seven Hills Road, we do have something rather interesting. This would be the west bank of modern Pigeon Creek. We have several timbers. That one right now is a little submerged just underneath the surface of the water, but that one you can see with your own two eyes. And there are others buried in the mud over here that I have pictures of, but I've been watching this for the last year since I found these timbers. This part of the creek drains exceptionally well, even after a hard rain, so these timbers are going to be visible throughout the year. we do believe these are the last remnants of Lock 73 of the Wabash and Erie Canal. It's also a note across modern Pigeon Creek from the aforementioned timbers, we have this notch that is cut out of the east bank of modern Pigeon Creek. As you can see, it is angled as if material, water, or what have you, runoff would run at this angle into the creek. That's my working theory right now. This is where the tumble essentially would re-enter the canal. Again, it's just a working theory at this point. Modern Pigeon Creek, roughly 5,100 feet south of where Seven Hills Road crosses this waterway. If we notice, the west bank is relatively flat until we hit this right here. You'll see a little mound across the way, and then it flattens out again. I do believe this is the location of the Pigeon Creek Dam. I don't believe anything of the dam is left. However, I do believe that mound across the way is excess spoilage from the dam that was removed to dredge modern Pigeon Creek. Now, we're going to turn south here. You can see where modern Pigeon Creek, there's a little bend there. It kind of hooks off to the right. This dredge is essentially leaving the path of the Wabash and Erie Canal, because right here, at the base of this hill, is a nice little preserved section of canal. And we're going to walk over and take a nice little view of it. This is a close-up of the little section of the Wabash and Erie Canal that forks off of modern Pigeon Creek and heads south toward Millersburg. Now you'll notice there is a bluff that runs along the side of this. This bluff, I do believe, is the location of the canal town of Rochester, or Rochester. Roughly 1 mile south of Seven Hills Road, there's a little preserved section of canal that runs along the base of a bluff. That bluff is the location of the canal town of Rochester, or Rochester. We get south of that bluff, and here we have a berm forming. You can see that in the background. And I'm going to turn to the south here, and we're going to notice the towpath reforming. This actually separates the Wabash and Erie Canal from modern Pigeon Creek, which is just beyond that towpath. Preserved Wabash and Erie Canal, looking at the bluff where Rochester may or may not have been. We have a little section of preserved canal just south of there. And just to put it in perspective of where this is located, we're going to move across the towpath and over to modern Pigeon Creek. Here we have modern Pigeon Creek being joined from a section of dredge. That dredge is essentially draining Pigeon Creek where it once was located, sometime before the dredge was made. Roughly 1.15 miles south of where Seven Hills Road crosses modern Pigeon Creek, and about, we'll say, a fifth of a mile south of Rochester, we have a little preserved section of canal that wanders from Rochester south. At this point, though, it starts to dry up. It's also of note that it appears the coal mine has made a road along the berm that really comes in contact with the canal just south of Rochester.